What is up, and welcome back again, dear listeners, to another episode of Manifested Drama, a podcast for the single mom hustling for her herd, the married mom of multiples trying her damnedest to get her youngest to calm the fuck down, and the divorcee diva who is living the good life on her ex husband's alimonial dime. My name is Amy.
I'm Missy.
On today's podcast, we take a look at the impact that Tay Trav is having on
Nice.
literally everything. I got another one. Kelly
Mm.
Clarkson gets a big win against her bastard ex-hubby, Brandon Blackstock. Felicity Huffman explains she's a good mom, which is why she went to prison. And cops say they've had it with Tiffany Haddish and her drinking issues. And we have a real talk about real life living paycheck to paycheck. All of this, including everything we hate, and we will check in with each other and make sure life still sucks. Ladies and gentlemen, grab a cocktail and settle in for another episode of Manifested Drama.
Oh, that was good. So good.
Thanks,
Wait,
man.
who's the divorcee? Do we have a third person I don't know about?
No, well, I'm a
Okay.
divorcee, but I'm not living on my,
Yeah. I
on
was
the
like, oh,
alimonial dime.
okay. So
Will's doing well. He's not doing that well.
damn, right? So speaking of divorcee, let's just jump right into it. You and I last night, we talked about, you texted me and you said that Justin and Haley were splitting up, and I said I couldn't find anything. Did you find anything?
The only thing that I found was a lot of like theories that the reason why they got together so quickly is because this was then when he was like on again, off again with Selena and Haley back and forth. He was in his quote bad boy era. I
No.
think he's just a dick and he's always
Like a
been a
little
dick.
fucking
He's just a
Canadian
little fucker.
poser.
Yeah.
He's a
So
Canadian poser.
he got, if you remember, he got into quite a bit of trouble, like public urination, speeding, he got arrested a couple of
Yeah.
times. And there was a time when he was very seriously looking at deportation. And when all of this was going on, dun 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 dun, he and Haley ended up
Oh.
married. And Kendall Kardashian, she might as well be
That's
Kardashian.
fucking well
Kendall
be. Yeah.
Jenner, they're interchangeable.
Mm-hmm.
She actually said something about their marriage being arranged, and then she like you could tell, like she did it in her interview, and you could tell like there was a look on her face like,
Like, oh
oh
shit.
fuck, I shouldn't have
Yeah.
said that. Yeah, and so now they've been married for 5 years. So
Okay.
that, as far as like immigration and like homeland security is concerned, they have like a 5-year contract because where immigration can check in at any time and make sure you're
Yeah.
really married, for the green card marriages, we've all
Hmm.
done that. So
Who hasn't once or twice, right?
a couple times we need to
Yeah.
be paid.
It's the
But
American way.
so that is the theory. And there was another there was a video that he put up on TikTok that has since been taken down that I haven't been able to find, where he pretty much said something to the effect of they'll be divorced by next September.
Huh.
And so that's kind of what threw this into into the universe, and like all the algorithms started buzzing. And I say good riddance. Good riddance to bad rubbish.
I agree with you. Like, I know that like that makes it. I know we've been accused. You said good riddance, and I agree. And I think that was one of those things that you kind of, I almost feel sorry for her because she is like a total rebound, right? And like,
Yeah.
she's not even, I don't think she's even second choice at this point, but like, she's such a mean girl to
Yeah.
Selena. And it's like, they
Yeah.
didn't, and she was in that friend group and she didn't need to be. Like, if you were that butthurt about it, bitch, don't break bro code. You broke bro code. That's
Yep.
on you. Don't be
You
mad
broke.
because
Yep.
you
You
weren't
broke
the
the hoe
first choice.
code.
You weren't
It's
first
hoes
choice.
before bros.
It's sisters before misters.
That's right.
Absolutely. She
That's
did it to
right.
herself. So that's one of the things that you're like, oh, that sucks. But at the same time, you're like, don't be a fucking thunder cunt.
I
Just don't be a
don't
thunder
feel
cunt.
bad for you. Don't feel
Yeah,
bad
not
for you.
even,
Sorry.
yeah. Because all she is, like, we talked Nepo babies last week. Like, she's like, she models, right?
She models, but her main thing is social media. She's got a
Yeah.
podcast and she's all over TikTok and Instagram. And, not that she needs to, because she's a fucking Baldwin. So,
Yeah.
if anybody out there is young, her parents and her
She's
uncles and all that.
Biodome's daughter.
Yeah. Yeah. Biodome's daughter. Brendan Fraser doesn't have. No, that was
That's
Encino
Pauly
Man.
Shore. Yeah, Encino Man. Ugh,
Encino
Encino
Man.
Man. Oh man, now we have the whale. So you have to go.
Did you see The Whale?
No, I haven't.
I haven't either. I heard it was really, really good, but very, very sad.
I'm an uncultured swine, so that's not at my award-winning thing. So we're talking about like celebrity nepo babies and like I know that what's her whole she's like a model, right? Her Kendall Jenner, the Hadid girls, they
Mm-hmm.
model. And I was like looking at there's like Jessica Simpson just put out like a thing of pictures kind of as she does when she loses a bunch of weight. She does like a catalog. And then Kelly Osbourne posted a picture of her and her son, like a very like full glam, like but she's holding her kid and her kid's got like the fucking like Gerber pacifier and shit. It wasn't even like a fancy pacifier. But one thing I noticed, and I wanted to share this with you because I figured you would laugh at me because I thought I was funny when I was practicing it. They all made the same expression. And I think looking at like celebrity pictures, like they all make the same expression. Are you ready for it?
Give it to me.
No, it's like this. And their mouth is like slack jawed.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So yeah, that was my entertainment for myself. I literally entertained the shit out of myself. So
Just practicing your celebrity slack jawed face
and
in the
honestly, just
mirror
kind of
for
looks like
hours.
I'm either having a stroke or a seizure where I'm like,
Probably both. That
yeah,
is kind of a good look, though.
that slack like that. It's like the dead on the inside look because that matches the shit. I'm dead on the inside and the outside doing that.
Yeah, the inside matches the outside.
Sometimes it's got to. My inside, so I'm having have one of those days where you just kind of don't like yourself, so you just pour a bunch of junk food into your
Oh, this
body.
weekend. This
That is
weekend,
me
yeah.
today. Do you know what I had for breakfast today?
What'd you
Half
have?
a half a can of frosting.
You are my fucking hero, man.
Yeah. And I
Was it
realized
vanilla frosting or
it was
was it
no, it was
chocolate?
chocolate. It was
Hell
chocolate.
yeah. That's why
It
we're
was
friends.
chocolate Duncan Hines whipped frosting. That was I ate half of it yesterday just because I can, right? Nobody tells you like
Well, you're not
it's
a monster.
yeah, exactly. I got a fucking portion control, am I right?
Weight Watchers taught you
Yeah,
something.
something.
How
There's
many points was that half a can of frosting?
427,000.
God. Hey, it fed your soul. You know what?
It did.
Our souls are starving.
It fed my soul and it fed my colon. And that's all that matters at this point.
Yeah. Gotta make
Yeah.
sure that
So
colon is fed.
I was like, cool, I'm just gonna go ahead and eat this. Cause like I think you get those like random period cravings. Well, I wanted chocolate cake, but I realized as I was talking that I did not as I was making chicken fried steak, because I'm fucking hashtag healthy.
Well,
Um,
chicken fried steak isn't chocolate cake.
yeah, I wanted chocolate cake while I was frying chicken fried steak, and I realized I only wanted chocolate cake because I wanted chocolate frosting. So having the husband that I have, he was like, I'll go get you some fucking frosting. And he fucking like took one for the team, went to Walmart,
Aww.
brought a bitch some, and he's like, no judgment, no judgment. He's like, I think you're great. Like, I don't even care. And I'm like,
I
cool.
love that for you.
Yeah. So, and also he's actually supposed to tell me no when shit like that happens. He's supposed to tell me, no, babe, you're doing good. You don't need it. But then I'm like, give me the frosting.
He knows what repercussions come to him if he doesn't go and do it.
Like what demons coming out? Yeah.
He
So
knows.
freaking movie. So yeah. So you and V went to you went to Trans Siberian Orchestra yesterday while I was eating.
Yeah. Well, you were eating Duncan
My
Hines frosting.
and I should have just mixed the chicken fried steak and the frosting. Just live my best.
Oh,
Should have gone full fat. My 600
dude,
pound life.
that's like the next level up from like chocolate covered bacon.
Oh, I didn't think about that. Damn.
Man,
Opportunities were
that's an
missed. It's okay.
idea. That's an
So
idea.
V went with you. I
Yes,
saw
they
your
did.
picture. Um,
Yeah.
did you give like any of Will to your children when you had them? I just want to know because both kids look like you.
See,
I'm sure Steven loves that.
I think Steven looks more like me than V does. I think V looks very much like their dad, especially in the nose
Mm,
area. But I
no,
definitely see it. I definitely like see it. But it's weird. It's like that. Like he couldn't deny those kids whatsoever. So
so
it's almost like they got like equal parts of both of us because like when they're with their dad, everybody's like, "Oh my god, you look just like your dad," and when they're with me, they're like, "Oh my god, they look just like you." So
I feel like they've
yeah,
always
but
both of them look just like, and especially looking at that picture you sent me yesterday that I
hmm
can maybe I will put on Instagram with V's permission,
okay.
just like you. Just like you. Like literally you guys are making the same face and everything. And like
Yeah.
I don't know, what were they eating nachos or something?
Yeah, so
Okay.
the company that I work for has a suite, has a VIP suite at the Footprint Center, and
Mhm.
they allow employees to use it, and they let us know when there's tickets available, and it's first come first serve. So we were living that sweet life, and when you're in the sweet life, there is this whole spread of
Oh shit.
they had chicken and dumplings, they had flat iron steak with this like sauce, they had chorizo and queso blanco nachos, and then of course they had like popcorn and hot dogs
Mhm.
and things like that. But it's like a whole big spread. And so yes, they were. I think they had some nachos.
Chicken
I
and
think that's
dumplings in a suite.
well, but they were fancy dumplings. They were like gnocchi looking. Like I think they might have
Okay.
been gnocchi, but it was like a whole ass like rotisserie chicken that they like had
Huh.
carved. It was like slices with like that perfectly crisp.
Interesting.
Like oh, it was so good.
I
The
did make
food
chicken and
was
dumplings on
good.
Saturday. I made sure because it was cold, and I did like I used biscuits and crescent rolls for my dumplings. They weren't
Good
fancy
God.
gnocchi.
Thank you for at least doing it right. The last time I had chicken and dumplings was the last time I had chicken and dumplings. It was like Steven was 2, I think. And my
Oh,
friend Shara, she made them and she used hot dog buns. She just like tore them up and like just floated them and they were just mushy and not good. Her kids were going nuts over it and I was just like,
they
"Oh,
didn't
it's got
know
to
any
be good."
better.
No,
No,
this tastes like paste. Tastes like
that
paste.
sounds um it sounds displeasing.
It
I
it
can't
was
even make it
no,
nice.
I was
No,
not pleased.
I made 2 pots where I did the chicken and like the celery and the carrots in one pot. And then
Mhm.
I took, like, my chicken broth, I had both, and then I put my dumplings like, I did it, like, in stages where it was, like, I did the crescent rolls, and then I did the biscuits, and then I combined it all together. And it was, like my dumplings were, like, some of because they were Grand's biscuits at that too.
Oh,
They
they get big.
they went to town. It was a pretty freaking
Nice.
that's
That
I
sounds
honestly think
very
that's the best
comforting.
part. Oh, it was comforting, so, like, we have some left over, and we were supposed to have that for dinner, but since I hate myself today, we had, shitty Little Caesars pizza instead.
You wanna know what I had for dinner on Saturday night?
What?
I had the fake chicken crispers.
Why did you
I
do that
know.
to yourself?
I know. I don't know why I did it. I picked up a delivery from Chili's and I was like, "You know what? I want some Chili's." So I was done with my block for delivering. I put in an online order and went and picked it up, and they were okay. They were
Yeah.
just chicken strips, and it was just not the same. So when I got the email for "Tell us about your experience," I
Did
told
you
them
give
all
them
about it.
you let them know? Okay,
I
good.
told them all about it. It's like, listen, I don't know who told you that these new chicken crispers are good, but they are not your friend. They don't care about you or the longevity of your business. Bring back the old chicken crispers.
Yeah, we
I
want
don't
the
know if they're going to listen
fatty,
or not.
floury one. So Rylan and I, we like to like once a month or so, we just go do shit. Like we'll just get a coffee and go to we'll go to lunch and we'll go to like sometimes the antique store, sometimes we'll go to the mall. So we against my better judgment, we went to Chili's.
Mm,
And I did not get chicken crispers because that betrayal it cuts
deep.
deep without
It
those
cuts
original.
deep.
So I'm
Hmm.
sitting there and the chips and queso, as we know.
Still the same.
It's
Yep.
good.
It's always,
I got
it's not
a
hard.
chicken bacon ranch quesadilla. You can't fuck up a quesadilla. We can, but you know. And I, out of the corner of my eye, I see something crawling up the wall, and I think it's a spider.
It's a
And we're in a
roach.
booth. It was a fucking roach. It was a roach. It went
Oh
up
no.
under the picture. And so because I'm from Texas and if it touches you, you're taking it home. So I scoot as far fucking away as I can, and it crawls back down, and I tried to kill it with my napkin. It got away. It was a squirrely motherfucker. Like, it was like, I'm here to live life. Well, our waiter comes over and I said, I just want you to know, like, I was not caring. I was like, there is a roach behind that picture. And I said, could we're good with just moving tables, right? They
Hmm.
comped the waiter or the like manager comes. She was like, I'm so sorry about that. She was like, thank you for telling us. She was like, we took care of your food.
That's because they
And I was
know.
like, yeah.
Oh, that's
And it was
exactly why.
And it
They
wasn't
were.
a water bug
Mm,
roach.
mm-mm,
You have the water bug. This was a German cockroach that, like, the one you get one,
mm,
you can't get rid of them. We had them in
mm-mm.
Houston for years. We moved up here hoping to God, like, they infested somebody else's shit while they were sitting in storage with the movers, as bad as that sounds. And I haven't
They.
seen
Oh
a
no,
roach
you can't
since.
get rid of them. It's a freaking epidemic. You
Yeah.
cannot get rid of them. And like that's why it's so easy to get them like when you live in an apartment because if your neighbor has them, they can very easily sorry, we're switching things around so the kids can eat.
Yeah.
It's super easy. Same thing with bed bugs, like if
Yeah.
you've got a neighbor that's got an infestation, more than likely you're going to have an infestation. So we had bed bugs last year. Man, that was the
Mm.
biggest pain. Oh, it
Well,
takes
I'm sure.
forever to get
Yeah.
rid of them. And I was going insane because I was the only one that was getting bit. Like
Oh,
I was the
no.
only one. And so I'm like, I am not going crazy. I'm not hallucinating. I'm not doing this to myself. And
Yeah.
finally one day we saw one and we took a picture
Oh.
of it and we Googled it and we're like bed bugs. And I'm like, I told you. So
Did your
we
apartment spray for you?
yeah, they actually had it was a big deal. They had a term exterminator come out and they did an inspection. They're like, "Yep, you've got bed bugs." I'm just like,
No
"Oh, I
fucking
could have
shit.
told you that." Yeah. And and so they gave us this big list of everything we had to do. We had to bag up all of our clothes. We had to
Mhm.
bag up all of our pillows and our pillowcases and our sheets and I mean everything. And then they
Yeah.
came and they sprayed. And then we had to keep well, like we didn't keep it in there, but that's what the list said is we had to keep everything bagged up. And I'm like, yeah, that's realistic
Yeah.
because we don't have lives that we have to live. Everything is just
You
going to
don't.
be on hold for the 3 weeks that it's going to take
Yeah.
for you to come back and look again. And they were just like, if you don't do one of these things, then
They're
that will
gonna all
void
get
the
out.
warranty.
Yeah.
Well, it'll void the warranty, and then you will be responsible if you're for paying for the next round of treatment. If and oh man, it was stressful. It was so stressful. And
I'm
waking up
sure.
every day with new bites, and you're just like, are you kidding me? We found out that alcohol, like isopropyl alcohol, will kill them instantly. So we just got to the
Oh.
point where like once a day we got a little spray bottle with some alcohol in it. We would spray the mattress and make sure we were vacuuming. Well, Eric did most of it, and well, because I was at work, and this is when
Yeah.
he wasn't working, so he was at home and he had the time to do it. So he really did a lot to make sure that he was vacuuming the mattress every day and the floor around the mattress and everything. And God, we probably went through a gallon or two of
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 alcohol.
ISO. Just I mean, we go through a lot of alcohol in this house anyway, but just from keeping it sprayed in the house, it was just such an ordeal.
And especially
You
as
got it?
quickly as they procreate, and it's the same when, like, your dog
Hmm.
gets fleas. We had
Yes.
where Rylan brought home fleas from school because there was, like, a track around, like, a dirt track that they would walk at her elementary school, that she brought home fleas, and the dogs got it, and we had a flea infestation for probably, like, 6 months.
Oh,
And
that
what so much
sucks.
so that Rylan, like, they love to bite her, and she still has scars from where she would scratch her legs
Hmm.
because it was just, and they'd be like, my friends are, she'd be in her swimsuit, and they'd be like, is she okay? Like, what's up with her
Hmm.
legs? Does she have a rash? I'm like, those are flea bites. And
Yep.
then one year, we don't know because it was like my friend gave me an appliance from her school the same time we had somebody move in next door. So
I
we
thought you were
don't
gonna say crabs.
nope. No, this is all post Kevin. Um, so we don't know if the roach came from said appliance or it came from the neighbor moving in. That time when we go to like a hotel room, like and then I will like almost manifest drama, manifest like things crawling on me in my sleep, and then I'll be like, "Does that look like a bug bite? Does that like?" Kevin's like,
Mhm.
"No, stop!
Mhm.
It's
You
not a
almost
bug
have,
bite."
like, restless leg syndrome where you've, like it's like when you work in the salon industry and somebody even mentions the word lice, all of a
Oh,
sudden
and you
you're
start
itching,
itchy.
everything starts to itch, and I would spray everything. As soon as somebody would have a client with lice, everything in my station got sprayed with alcohol. I'm like, "Nope, not today, Satan,
Nope.
not me, not this station."
Ugh.
And in
Rylan,
23 years, I never had a client with lice.
I've never had lice in my life. Rylan has had it twice. She had it when she was like 4 or 5 and was going to daycare. And
Mhm, that's where
then,
they get it from.
well, we found that if you put like, what is that, apple cider vinegar on your head and wrap it in
Mhm.
plastic, that will kill them.
Yep.
And then all you have to do is just wash everything out. And then the second time she got it from the little girls that lived across the street from us in Houston, like she was getting ready to go to church with them on Easter, and I'm blow drying her hair, and I'm like, "Ooh." And I was
Oh.
like, "You are not going. We have to treat your head. I'm so
Mm-mm.
sorry." She was not happy.
Man, and
Not
that's like, I mean,
happy.
it's like there's nobody's fault. It feels like a
No.
punishment, but it's just like this is not because you were bad. It's because we cannot, in good conscience, send you. I had a bully when I was in daycare. I had a bully, and she gave it to me on purpose.
Oh, what a bitch.
Uh huh. She also
What's
pushed me in
her
a duck
name?
pond.
What's her
Danielle.
name?
I'll never
Dan-
forget her name. Danielle. I don't know her
What's her
last name.
last name?
Danielle.
Damn it.
Don't know.
We'll find you,
Don't she was
Danielle.
tall. I think she was maybe a little developmentally challenged because she was
No.
obviously older than the rest of us.
Damn it. You can't pick
But
on like can't bully the special needs kid,
and
even
I'm
if
like,
they're an
fuck you. And it's
asshole.
just like, don't get mad at me because I'm trying to be your friend. And I should have known. I should have known because she was just like being my friend. She was being nice
Oh,
and everything. And I was just like, I'm just gonna ride this wave. I don't want to make her mad,
yeah.
because
You're
when the
wondering why
bully's
she got
being nice, yeah, and she's just like, "Ooh, let's trade hair bows." By the end of the day, I'm just like, "Oh, just
no.
scratch." I'm just going to town. I called my grandmother. They came and picked me up, and she was just like, "This isn't your hair bow," and I'm just like, "Yeah, my friend Danielle." And then years later, I'm just like, "That bitch. Not only
Yeah.
did she give me
Let me
lice, she
figure it
pushed
out.
me in the damn duck pond too."
Bitch.
Oh
We'll find
no,
you, Danielle.
she had beef. I'm
You
gonna get you one day, Danielle.
Yeah, we'll get you
I got a bed
karma.
bug with your name on it.
Ooh, we've come full circle, folks.
So you want to get into some topics, or do you have
We
more beef
can.
you want to spew?
I don't have any beef with any. Well, we can get to that later because I talked
Okay,
to one of my cousins today, and we'll just kind of get it. We'll bookend it with random shit like we always do. But
okay.
so I love Tiff. Do you like Tiffany Haddish? I love
I
her. I think
really
she is
do.
so funny. I was
I like her.
really shocked when I read that article. So what was it? 11/27, the Friday before November 27th, whenever the fuck that was. That was November 24th. Apparently, she got arrested for a DUI, which is kind of shocking. But I think too, it's like I'm sorry, who hasn't? Not that it's right. Who hasn't driven a little bus every now and again? And I'm not
Yeah.
making excuses, but I think
Don't
that
drink and drive, kids.
yeah. So she did an interview and she said, it's her second DUI. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I take back I retract my previous statement because when you get one, then you need to straighten the fuck
Yeah,
up.
you need to not
Um,
do it anymore.
her first
Once you
one was
get
in
caught, you got to
January.
stop.
Yeah.
Fun's over.
But her so her first one was in January 2022. She said it'll never
Mm-hmm.
happen again. She has since done an interview and she's like, yeah, I need to get help and I need to get my shit together. So like kudos to her
Yeah.
but it kind of sucks because it's like you can't, and like you're talking about Justin Bieber getting arrested for DUI. It's like you can't like your shit's gonna be out there in the open for everybody to fucking hear, and it really
Mm-hmm.
does kind of suck that and it was kind of and it was all on camera. Her whole arrest was. I didn't watch the video because I just haven't had time, But
Mhm.
yeah, I just couldn't. I was like, "Man, you're supposed to be like one of the good ones. Like, get your shit
I know.
together." You
But
know?
that's another reason why I like her so much is because she's, like, so relatable. I mean, obviously, she is one
Yeah.
of us because now she's got not 1 but 2 DUIs. But you know what was I thought I actually read the article. Normally when you send me the articles, I just Google it and I look for a video because I'm that girl. But I actually
Yeah.
read the article that you sent me. And she was in one of those, she was in an electric car that like had the self-parking feature. And so she had fallen asleep at the wheel
Girl.
and the car parked itself and it was blocking the road. And that's the only reason
So
why she got caught.
it's Tesla's fault.
Tesla's fault. Elon Musk, sue his ass. He can
Because
afford it.
Tesla, like those are self-driving. Did you know that?
Yeah, they're self-driving. I'm no, thank you. Do you
Yeah,
guys
I
have
don't.
those electric vehicles in
Yeah.
Derby that like, but you have the ones that don't have drivers?
No,
We
no.
have them here.
Oh, are they?
It's
What is their
it
purpose?
It
Are they just
they're
like
just
Google
they're
Map guys?
just they're like ride shares. They're called Waymos, and Google has one called Ride or something. Google's got one. We don't have those. We've got the Waymos. They're really nice cars. Like all the ones around here are like Jaguar SUVs. They're
Oh
really super
wow.
nice, but there's no driver.
I just think
And
that that's like a sci-fi movie waiting to happen, where
no,
everybody's fucking ride sharing and like then the door locks and you can't get out, like, and then it's
AI
bulletproof
takes
glass and you can,
over
yeah, and then we're all
and
gonna
it's your
die.
worst nightmare. No,
Yeah.
I'm not getting in a driverless vehicle. I've had
No,
my groceries delivered from a driverless vehicle though. Like
that's
I
creepy as
ordered
hell.
from Walmart and I was text messaged a code to open the back hatch and like I put in the code and the back opened and I got my groceries and I closed it and it just went on
You
by
know what
its
would have been
way.
great is that if they had made a TikTok about how you didn't tip it.
Why am I gonna tip? I will tip a regular
Tipping is
person. I'm just gonna
optional.
tip an electric vehicle. I had to come out of my house and get it out
Tipping
of the
is
car. What did you
optional.
do? Nothing. You didn't
I
even
brought it.
drive.
Oh man. So yeah, no, that's not a thing that probably um Kansans would probably be more akin to be like, oh, you get your possessed car out of here. You
That's
get out
yeah.
of here.
With
Go,
that devil
Christine.
car.
Get out of
Get
here.
the devil car.
Devil.
You can go
Yeah.
the Waymo over there.
They've seen Christine. That's not happening.
You
So
need Jesus. That
they
Jesus
need
taking the
Jesus.
wheel on that one.
So Felicity Huffman finally spoke
Mm.
out about her cheating. So she and it was Lori Loughlin.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think they were the main names that got caught up in this whole USC cheating scandal. And if you don't know what happened, basically, they cheated to get their kids into college. They
Mm-hmm.
had a proctor change their SAT scores, and it basically turns out, if you look at the case, it wasn't like I'm throwing my ooh, ooh.
Yeah.
That was pizza and
No.
chunky. No, that wasn't a good one. But they were
Did you get
working
a
with like
dumpling?
a yeah. Well, I needed it. If it was a dumpling, it'd have been all right. But what was he called? Like an admissions counselor, like a call, like
Mm,
somebody to help them or whatever. And he was like
yeah.
basically he put it to them, and I think it was that mom guilt because he put it to them basically, if you don't do this, your kid's not going to go to college.
Mm-hmm.
And like heaven forbid somebody's kid doesn't go to college, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, that's it. She like basically that was her one because she has not done any interviews, anything over the last however many years about it. She did
Mm-hmm.
spend 11 days in prison, which I was like, she spent 11 days in like
Bitch,
celebrity people prison.
I spit 11 days in prison,
Yeah.
okay? I did 11 days in Irving.
Yeah. I did 11 hours in Irving, but I didn't do 11 days in Irving. I
Mm.
did enough to like get my dinner roll, and I was like halfway through my dinner
And
roll and they're
your
like, your bail's
banquet
been
turkey
posted.
pot pie.
Yeah, basically. But yeah,
So yeah, I at the beginning I kind of felt like Felicity Huffman. She took it on the chin. She didn't
yeah,
have a whole lot to say about it. She accepted her sentence and she did
yeah,
her time. But now she wants to talk, and like trying to say, oh well, I felt like I wasn't a good mom if I didn't know. You would have been a better mom if you had
Mhm.
impressed upon your kid how much privilege they were born into, and but
Yeah.
that how that doesn't make them any different from anybody else, and that if they want to go to college, that there are certain things that you have to do, and
Yeah.
making your grades a priority is one of those things, and all of the things that you have to do in order to get into college. And I get that college is way more competitive now than really it's ever been,
Yeah.
but you are a celebrity. Okay.
Yeah.
Your kid is not going to have problems getting into school. So, all of
No.
this, oh, I did it for the love of my child. No, you didn't.
Fuck
No, you
right
didn't.
off with all that
You did it
bullshit. Yeah.
because you raised a nepo baby that was lazy and didn't get the grades and didn't earn their way into college. So you did everything like you normally do. You just gave it to them. You spent the
Yeah.
money and you gave it to them. So I don't feel
Yeah.
bad for you.
And
Sorry,
her
don't feel
quote in this
bad.
People article is, people assume that I went into this looking for a way to cheat the system, making proverbial criminal deals in back alleys, but that was not the case. She said, I worked with a highly recommended college counselor named Rick Singer. I worked with him for a year and trusted him implicitly. So obviously an attorney wrote this statement that she's giving
Mm-mm.
us, obviously.
Yeah.
He recommended things. He was the expert. And after a year, he started to say, your daughter's not going to get into any of the colleges that she wants to. And so I believed him. So there's one of like the crux of the problem too, is that her daughter wanted to go to these colleges. So what baby wants, baby got. She didn't say, well, maybe, like, let's try some good old JUCO. Let's try JUCO. Get your basics out of the way. Like, let's get your
Mm-mm.
performance a little bit better. Then you can try for USC. Then you can try for Yale. Then you can try
Mm-mm.
for any of the Ivies that you want.
Yep.
So, I mean, um, she said, I know hindsight's 2020, but felt like I would be a bad mother if I didn't do it. So I did. And I get you want to do everything for your kid, but I'm sorry. Um, that's not a case that I'm willing to catch for my kids. I'll
Mm-mm.
maybe hop
Nope.
behind a body, but I'm not going to cheat to get you into college. Sorry. That's like,
Nope.
I'm not going to do some dumb white collar shit. I'm going to do some fucking gangster shit.
No, if I'm gonna do a crime, there better be some like hefty time attached to it. If I'm
Yeah.
gonna break the law, for
Yeah.
you, I feel the same way. I don't know if I ever told you this, but one time I had a dream that V came to me and asked me to help them hide a body, and I didn't ask any
You
questions,
don't ask questions,
which
but
is
you
what a
don't.
mother does. You don't ask questions,
If
but
I'm gonna go to jail, I want to have like I want to go to jail, and I want people to be like a little bit afraid of me,
yeah,
or
that's
like a
how it's
little
got to
bit of
be.
dread.
Oh, I helped. I photoshopped my kid into a college crew
Yeah.
photo, and I helped her cheat on her SATs. Bitch, you be shanked in the showers before breakfast. Okay.
No, yeah, she would be threatened until somebody's commissary was constantly full. Yeah,
Yep.
that's what
And
that is. What
like oh
everybody needs, like
you're
a
a
hood
celebrity,
veteran.
but she
Yeah.
probably spent her 11 days in segregation.
Oh, for
She
fucking
wasn't in
sure.
general population. I don't feel
Yeah.
sorry for you. I'm sorry. I might be a little bit more sympathetic if I hadn't have actually been inside some pretty nasty city and county jails, but I have, and I know how bad it is. And you got a sweetheart deal with your
Yeah.
11 days, 14 days. She only served 11 because of overcrowding.
Fucking
Then why
California.
even make her
You
do it? Why even make her do
fucking
it?
liberals. That's what it was. That she's probably like, and when I get out of here, guys, don't worry, I'll make a donation.
Yeah, I guess. It
Yeah.
does it doesn't, donations and, loving your kid doesn't excuse it. I don't even, the fact that that it was against the law, that doesn't I don't even care about that. The fact of
Yeah.
the matter is, you don't tell me that you were doing it because you were trying to be a good mom. You were a worse mother for helping her. That's
And
just
you
the way I
fucked
feel about it.
over and took the spot of a kid that worked their ass off to get there.
Yeah, and that's
That's the
that's
bullshit
super
of it all.
unfair. Yeah, and it's probably some poor inner city kid that's been on a roll since he was in kindergarten, never missed a day of school.
Yeah.
But as long as Felicity Huffman's daughter can go to USC, I guess
And
it's okay.
and I'm big fans of her and William H. Macy. Like I'm
Yeah,
huge like William H. Macy fan. I think that they're an odd couple together, but I think they're so, so, so talented that it's just
Yeah.
kind of like, like we probably could have been friends, but now I don't want to be friends with you because
Yeah.
you're
Like,
bougie.
I would expect something out like that, like, out
Of
of, like,
Lori
a Paris
Loughlin,
Hilton.
Lori
Not
Loughlin is
even
fucking
uh,
yeah. I,
Aunt Becky, Aunt
yes,
Becky. I
Aunt
never she
Becky
was
and her
always the voice
French
of
ass.
reason.
But her French ass husband, your French ass husband can't get your fucking daughter into a goddamn university. Like you
Get
want your
her into
kid
one
to
of
go
them
to
French colleges. I'm sure they
get
don't
to
care.
there. Yeah. Did you try across the pond? I don't fucking think you did. What is her?
No,
Olivia
because
Jade. Nope, she's busy being a TikTok star now. She didn't
yeah,
want to go to
so
college. She wanted to be a
yeah.
TikTok star. That's
Thanks
all.
thanks for doing time, Mom. I'm gonna be a TikTok star.
I'm gonna go on Dance with the Stars and not last that long because I
Mm.
suck. Yeah. So
Yeah. I felt the
that is
same way
our
about Felicity Huffman because they were seemed like they were not like yes, she was on what was that show? Desperate Housewives?
yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't remember if it was like Real Housewives, like that's not it.
No.
Um, but yeah, she
There's
was
like
on but
17 of those.
she was like the real mom, you know, she wasn't
Yeah.
like that Brie redheaded character where everything was perfect, and
Mhm.
she wasn't like Terry Hatcher who was just a train wreck the whole time.
Yeah.
She was like the real working mom, and she's always done like roles that felt like real people. So
It's
I guess that's
relatable.
why, yeah, she was
Yeah.
relatable, and you know, she's just as entitled and spoiled as
As the
the
rest of
rest of
them.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
disappointing.
Yeah.
William
What's
H
his name?
Macy, what do you have to say about this?
I don't know. He is busy being Frank. I don't know. Like that's the whole thing is he's obviously no Frank Gallagher for fucking sure. But did you ever watch him on Shameless?
No, but I did. I like that. This role of his that always stands out to me was it was called Door to Door, where he
Hmm.
played a mentally challenged door to door salesman in the 50s, and
Oh,
it was based on a true story, and he did such a good job. It was kind of like when Sean Penn did Sam, or
yeah.
when Juliette Lewis did the other sister. Well, like they do it so convincingly, but in
Yeah.
such a tasteful and respectful way. Like the whole time you're just like tearing up because it's
We-
just jerking at your heartstrings. But William H. Macy, I just love him in everything that he does. I never saw
He's so
Shameless, but
talented. You should. You would
yeah,
love it. He's
yeah,
like an
that's what I hear.
addict, alcoholic. You see a lot of his ass, because he's just like a crazy druggy alcoholic, and he's unapologetically so his character is, and like the
Oh, a
whole
man after my
just
own heart, druggy
like
alcoholic.
the whole dichotomy of the whole family is just everybody on that show so fucking talented. It's crazy pants. I think you would like it. But he's just
Isn't
one of
Emmy
my
Rossum
favorite.
in that show too?
She was, yeah, for like the first
Hmm.
until like I think the last two seasons she was not in. Who's that guy? Jeremy White. Do you know who he is? He's in that
Maybe.
show The Bear. I don't know. They were showing like it was like a TikTok video that it was like clearly nobody in New York watches Shameless because he's just
Oh,
chilling
okay.
on like in a subway car, like fucking looking at his phone and nobody's bugging him. And it was like, tell me people in New York don't want Shameless without telling me people in New York don't want Shameless, basically.
You know, I've heard that being a celebrity in New York is a lot easier than being a
Yeah.
celebrity in LA because people don't give a fuck. They're
Yeah.
like,
New
"Oh,
Yorkers
look,
don't
it's
care.
Jeremy White. We don't give a fuck." Like even paparazzi, like they get their shot and they leave you alone.
Unless
So,
you're Taylor Swift.
unless you're Taylor Swift, yeah,
Yeah.
that bitch has got everybody in a tizzy. We'll
Oh
get to her later.
man. Yeah, we'll get to her. So, but yeah, I guess it's one of those, it's a shame when you see people that you really admire for their talent, like when
Yeah.
their privilege comes like slapping you, and it's like getting your a dick slapped by somebody who's privileged, basically.
You're like, what
That's
the fuck? What the fuck?
nobody nobody wants that.
Nobody asked for
Look,
that.
yeah. Put that back in your pants.
No,
How fuck the
nobody
fuck,
cares.
dude? You didn't even buy me a fucking drink
Especially
first.
me. Yeah,
Especially
that's just
Amy.
bad manners. Don't dick slap me unless you're gonna
Yeah,
buy
you
me a
asked
drink
if you're gonna
first.
dick slap. Yeah, you have to put some
Yeah, at
effort
least
into the
ask.
dick
And
slap.
unless
God.
we're in a long term committed relationship, and
We
even
are
then, I feel like you should
ladies,
still, yeah.
okay?
Hey, easy, easy. Don't be throwing around profanity.
Hold on. Pinky's out. So, do you want to talk living paycheck to paycheck?
Well, let's do that.
So we like to keep it a little bit like we try to be authentic. Like we're not putting this like we don't do this podcast to be like, oh, we're so great. Like everything in our life is so great. We kind of like to show how it is, right?
Mhm.
And I know Amy and I, we both can relate to living paycheck to paycheck. And so I was, as I do, because I have nothing better to do because I have no life. But there was like a New York Post article posted like the end or beginning of last week, and it was a lady, she had gone on TikTok and she was making a video, and she's like a nurse, and you think nurse, and especially these days where nurses make hella good money,
Yeah.
and then her husband, worked full time, and she's a family of four, and she just was like, her video was that she's so defeated because she's a nurse, they've done everything right, they listen to like ooh, ooh,
No,
that's
Chunky
gross.
again?
Yeah, don't even.
Oh.
Little Caesars done betrayed me. Kevin goes blaming on Little Caesars. But like I was saying, they believed that like let's, go to college, let's get a mortgage, let's do this. And they're living paycheck to paycheck. And
Mhm.
like minimum wage is 7.25 in our country. Seven
How is
dollars
that
and
possible?
25 cents. And minimum wage, and that's been the way that it's been since probably what, like 2007, 2008. So 15 years, minimum wage has not increased. When I first started working, minimum wage was 5.25. Ryla
Mhm.
makes 14.50 at McDonald's, just for a frame of reference of how even McDonald's knows 7.25 is not a living wage. So we have just seen, and I know Amy, you guys have gone through, and it's like we're the American people, and people are like, well, if you want your goods to go up, then yeah, let's pay people a living wage. Our goods are going up anyway, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Our goods are going
Yeah.
up. Our cost of living, gas is going up, electricity is going up, like rents are going up, mortgage rates are going up. And wages are not, for the established worker, wages are not going up.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, and why the fuck, like, how the fuck is it 2023, almost 2024, and nobody can live comfortably, especially coming into the holidays.
Yeah.
It's a
Exactly.
mind fuck. It's a mind fuck. And for somebody who's a nurse who bought the bullshit of get a degree and you'll get a high
Yep.
paying job,
Mhm.
who we have seen unprecedented numbers of that staff force leave because of the mistreatment and the greediness of hospitals,
Yeah.
and she can't make her mortgage, and she's, after you pay your bills, your bank account's empty. How the
Yep.
fuck is, and it just pisses me and just it makes me so mad. It goes back to everything, especially, she's in this article, she says, they make decent salaries, they live within their means, and they barely have money to get by. She's like, we both have good jobs, he works full time, I work full time, we did everything right, and we
Mhm.
got paid this past Friday, we paid the mortgage, bought some groceries, put some gas in the car, and guys, it's Tuesday, and we have like $200 to $300 to last us till next Friday.
Yeah.
And I thought, yeah, that's a lot. I think if you have $200 to $300 to last you 2 weeks, for me, that's a lot of money. I don't know if
Mhm.
I'm alone, because I think of it as I'm gonna have to buy groceries next week
Yep.
with that
Mhm.
$200 or $300, and there's now it leaves me $100. Then I'm gonna put gas in the car.
Mhm.
I'm gonna have $40 to last me 2 weeks,
Yep.
basically.
Yep. And it
And I
makes
don't.
it that makes it to where you almost have to be like those extreme couponer people. Like
Yeah,
I don't have the patience for that. It mesmerizes me. I am absolutely astonished and fascinated by people that can do that. But that is a 40-hour job. Like
yeah,
that's a lot. But it's almost like you have to like clip the coupons and shop the sales and I mean, inevitably go without, and you're making those decisions due Do I put gas in? Do I pay the car payment or do
Mhm.
I pay the car insurance? Do I
Yeah.
pay the mortgage or do I pay the insurance, the house insurance?
Yeah.
It's like it's heartbreaking to have to tell your kids no. No,
Mhm.
we can't do this. No, you can't have that for it. And the only reason is not because they don't deserve it. It's not because they haven't earned it. It's because we just don't have the money.
Yeah.
And like when I was a kid, like that was never we never talked about money, like
No, not even a little
never.
bit.
I
Never.
am very open with the kids about
Yeah.
our financial situation because I want them to know that, if we can't go and do whatever this is, it's not for any other reason because we don't have the money.
Yeah.
But when I am flush, that's when I like to
Oh, yeah.
spoil my kids. When that tax check comes, we have a yes day. But it's like the tax check is getting smaller and smaller. It's going less and less far, and
Mhm.
and just like the I have been where that woman, and if you haven't seen the video, maybe we can post it in the comments or something, the link. But the look on her face is just of absolute
Yeah.
utter defeat and
Despair. Yeah.
confusion, because they're like, I go to work, I pay my bills, I don't live an extravagant lifestyle. How is this possible? And I've been there many times. I was there last week, just like sitting on the couch, just bawling my eyes out, just saying, I am just so tired of this. I'm
Yeah.
so tired of struggling. It's not fair. And when you because we're all grown up, we all grow up being fed what we now
This
know is a
bullshit
lie.
of
It's
go to
bullshit.
college, get a
Be a
house,
TikToker,
get that.
kids.
Yeah. And I was like, I read the article. I watched a snippet of the video, but I read. I do more of like the reading the article. You're better at watching the videos than I
Oh, the
am. But
video breaks your heart.
she admits that she was once a homeless drug addict, which I'm sorry, that doesn't make a difference to me. It doesn't make her about. And I know some people will read that like, oh well, she did it to herself. She got herself. But no, she
No,
was
for
a
me,
homeless
that's
drug
like
addict.
she brought herself out of that
Yes,
adversity,
thank you.
and
Yeah.
yeah,
And she, she was able to turn her life around once she went to college to study medicine. And she kind of said the same thing that we were saying. It was like, we I went to college, I did all of this, and she's like, I'm so stressed out. This is not how it's supposed to be. And I think she was that mindset of it'll get better after I graduate and I start working, things will get better. And yeah, things do get a little better once I was talking to somebody the other day about how Rylan makes more working at McDonald's right now than I did when I went back to work at a title company after I had her.
yeah,
I made 11.75. Like Kevin was making $8 an hour and we got married, like, and
hmm
that was 20 years ago. And like we said, federal minimum wage is 7.25 in the US. Like our country is the one country that we live to work instead of working to live.
yeah,
Daycare is astronomical, cost of living is astronomical, our benefits are so fucking expensive. We don't get paid time off. Like we don't get to enjoy our lives. Like you were talking about, you get a tax return. So I haven't got a tax return in 6 years. We owe every year now. And I, I think you're muted.
yeah. I was.
There you go.
I am afraid that I might owe this year, just because I've never worked a job where I consistently made. And that's the other thing. Like I work on an incentive whenever I do my job, and I can earn up to $30 an hour, and
Yeah.
I've never made that much money, and that's not enough. So I mean, my question would be like, do you think that Rylan would be able to live
No.
like without a
No.
roommate or like pay the bills?
Absolutely
Yeah,
not.
in
No.
Derby, in Midwest, Middle America, 1450 wouldn't be enough to
No.
sustain one person, and that
We
is a
yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
Problem.
We have a coffee group that I go to with our church that we don't go to anymore, but I went to coffee with some of the ladies, and this is where we were talking about it. And it was like the cheapest apartment here is like, I think 1,200 and something dollars. That's for just rent. So
Mm,
my kid makes probably about $1,400 a month if she works 40 hours a week. She gets no
Mhm.
overtime. She's almost always under 40 hours a week at this rate. So insurance is 232 for the car. Gas, if she doesn't leave Derby, is $50 a month. Her rent would be $12.50 without a roommate. Mind you, that's a
Mhm.
two-bedroom apartment without a roommate. Groceries for one person, and we know teenagers are not grocery shopping and cooking food. So all of the hundreds of dollars that she's spending right now on DoorDash, she wouldn't be able to do more because she would be
Yep.
living in her car or living back under my basement. And I kind of was talking to her because like she has Capital One for her checking account that I'm on, and we both get the emails. And now that she's over 18, as you know, like you get inundated with credit card offers when you turn 18. And I was talking to Kevin and I said, do you think we should like encourage her to get a credit card to learn how to use it? Because that's another skill that is not taught that it should be. Nobody tells you that
About credit.
you have to have debt to have credit.
Mhm.
Like, you could pay and have a credit card and you have a mortgage and have a car payment and you could pay everything on time. You could pay your credit card every single month off.
Mhm.
Your credit wouldn't be reflected of good credit because you have to have debt to have credit, which is
Yeah.
in fucking
It's like it's
insane to me.
backwards. It's so backwards. You're absolutely right. Cause like I don't know if you remember, but like there was like when we were working at Spirit Girl, I came upon an instance where I didn't have a car and you were
Mhm.
trying to help me out. Like you took me around to some dealerships and we were talking to some car dealers and they're just like, well, what's your credit like? And I'm like, I don't know. And they ran my credit and they're just like, you don't have any credit. And I'm like, well, that's good, right? He's like, bad, like
No.
bad credit. He's like, no, it would be better if you had bad credit. And I'm like,
Yeah.
how the fuck does that work? So yeah, and I just got a credit card last year. I've never had one before. So I mean, my 2 cents on it's your kid, but my 2 cents on it would be like get them like a secured like low
Yeah.
balance credit card like 100, 200 max, and that way they can like make small purchases, they can't
Mhm.
get out of control, and they can start building that credit a little bit at a time. Because if I'd have known that credit was going to one
Fuck
that
your
credit was going to
life.
be so affected by the poor decisions that I made, because
Yeah.
it's not just credit cards, it's like your rental history affects your credit.
Yeah.
They say it's not supposed to, but unpaid medical bills affect your
Well,
credit.
that's recent. Like, they can no longer like the collections. If you have collections on your credit, they can stay there. But anything
Hmm.
new, they can't report to the credit bureaus.
So,
So that's good.
but still, just having something that where they can build a little bit of credit,
Yeah.
so that when the time comes, it's much easier. It's like giving them a leg up.
Yeah.
Because don't let them get to be 40 years old and finally understand about
Learning
credit
how. Oh
and
yeah.
learning how to build it. And now I'm like all over Credit Karma. I'm like, I just got an email today. My credit went up 28 points. I was like,
Mine did too. All of my stuff. But like we are so like I think I've told you before, we are working with an attorney for
yeah.
just my credit card bills because we had started this journey, gosh, like midsummer last year. There was a misunderstanding with our homeowners insurance and our mortgage payment went up $500 a month. And at this
Mm.
time, our minimum credit card payment of all of our credit cards was like $1,000 a month. So we had contacted the same attorney to it was just we're drowning, right? Drowning. So we
Mhm.
contacted the same attorney. We're paying like into this, it's called a dedicated account. I found them through National Debt Relief where it was like 400 and something dollars a month, but we had to let all of our credit cards default and stop all of that good, and because we were maxed out as well, so we didn't even have like good debt, we just had bad debt and like a shit ton. So we had them for like 4 months and they didn't do
Mhm.
shit.
Mhm.
And this time around came around and I was like, well, let's give them a try again, but I'm just going to do mine. And so it's much, much less money. So we're still doing that. They've settled like two out of like my, or three out of my 10 accounts where like they've set up like a structured payment where I'm still making the same set payment to them and they're distributing that money out to like my creditors. It
Okay.
works for right now because there has been where like my credit went up because my balances decreased because they've settled 3 of my accounts, and my credit went up like 28 points today. I was like, "Woo! Now can I go get a new car?" Ugh. I want one so bad, but I don't need one. I don't need more debt. We don't need any. I just
I
need a
want a new
deposit.
car too, but just because ours is such a piece of shit, it's just like every time we get to a point where like because I got the car payment like completely caught up. So
Yeah.
like we're current. I mean, we're behind now, but up until when I paid it, we were current.
Yeah.
But it's just like every time we get like caught up on the
A
car,
little bit
something
ahead,
else
something
breaks
happens.
on it, something
Yeah.
happens like and now it's like we the headlight is out, which is not a big deal, we'll get that what that's taken care of, but it's just like every time it's just like a
Like
couple
a
steps
little
forward
something,
and then one
little
step
something.
back, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's been the trend with this vehicle. So I'm just like, God damn it, I can't wait to get rid of this fucking piece of shit. I didn't even want it in the first fucking place, but we
Yeah.
needed it. But I just like going into it, I just had this like pit in my stomach about this car. And it's been nothing but a headache since. So, but now I've had that experience. I know what to expect in the future. I know to do my research a little bit more because I mean, like, we were doing good. Like, when we bought it, we're making the payments on time. The credit was going up and up and up. And then Eric got hurt. And, you know, we
Mhm.
started missing payments and started making late payments. And you start seeing that credit go down and down and down. And before you know it, you know, you're not getting those credit card offers in the mail. And, you know, the bank isn't, you know, so lenient with, you know, loaning you a little bit of money. And, you know, it's
Yeah.
like, it really, really affects you.
And it's not the days of old where, it's like almost like a good old boy network where you could go, "Hey, Jim Bob, like, he's hurt, but we're good for it." Like, that's not
Yeah.
even the case anymore. And that's what sucks too is that he can't even get hurt where he can't work. And there's those stories of the people that they milk disability and they don't want to
Mm-hmm.
work.
Yep.
And, then there's the cases of the people that are legitimately hurt and need that help and can't get it because those people suck the system,
Yep.
you know?
Yep.
And it's the same for me with like food stamps. We learned in Texas that food stamps are whomever you're talking to on like the other end of the phone when you put in your food stamp, they get to decide whether or not you can have food stamps. Kevin and I
Yeah.
did not have jobs. We had a 5-month-old infant, a fucking 2-year-old, and an 8-year-old. And I got denied for food stamps because when we both did have jobs 3 months ago, didn't have any kind of thought in our head that we weren't going to have jobs, got a much needed minivan because we were driving a 2-door car with 2 in car seats. So I got
Mhm.
denied for food stamps in Texas, even though neither one of us were working because I had a financed vehicle. And I got asked, "Well, what are you going to do when it comes to making your car payment or paying your bills?" And I was like, "I'm fucking obviously going to pay my bills."
I'm like,
But
well,
it's
if
like,
you give me some food stamps, maybe I could afford to pay the note on this car that I need to get my kids to and from school and get to work
yep,
so that maybe I can dig myself out of this hole. Why don't you give me the government assistance that's supposed to
that's
be
supposed to be
there
there,
for when you have these temporary situations
but they're
instead
not
of
going to.
and I'm gonna be the horrible white woman on this one, but instead of giving it to the girl with 6 kids who's wearing the Chanel sandals, driving the Cadillac, and carrying the Louis Vuitton purse, coming in to get food stamps for her 7th kid that she's pregnant with, you
So
know,
then
and
she's
it's
going
not
to
any
sell
different.
those
It's
food stamps. Yeah.
yeah, it's milking the system, and it ruins it for people that
Yeah.
legitimately need the help.
We lived in, so that's how we ended up in Houston was during that period of our time because I started applying all over the nation.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I don't give a shit. I like literally because my maternity leave with Micah, I had short-term disability and they were only giving me 40% of my pay because America, we don't, we don't have paid maternity leave. So this was right
Nope.
after I went back to work. I was applying anywhere in the nation. We were supposed to stay with my dad at my grandma's house, but like 2 or 3 days before we were supposed to go down there to stay and have somewhere free to stay, we got told, "No, you guys can't stay here." So I had to move my kids and my husband and I into an extended stay motel. Not even a nice one
Oh.
where like we had to take the comforters off of the beds and put them on the floor because you have an infant who's going to be on the floor. You have a toddler who's going to be on the floor. During that time, since I could not get food stamps, I could not get Medicaid, I couldn't get any kind of medical assistance for my kids because that one lady decided that she didn't want to give it to me. My boys at one time, they both got sick where their fevers were so high that Witten's skin was red. And I was so I we just kind of just suck it up and like we need to like work it out because we couldn't afford a hospital bill, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And that's and this was 10 years ago. And I think of how far we've come in 10 years where we are basically homeless,
Yeah.
could barely afford to feed our kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not, just think of how bad the economy is now,
Yeah.
even more so. I feel for the people that are in that situation that I was in 10 years ago
Oh,
because,
for sure.
like, and no matter what everybody says, everybody is hiring. The fuck they are, okay? The fuck they actually are. How many people do you talk to that they put in 10, 15, 20, 30, 50, 60 resumes, job applications, never hear anything back?
But I mean, they're jobs that probably people that, if you're a skilled tradesman, you don't want
They're
to
not
go
gonna pay
work.
you.
Nothing wrong with working at McDonald's, absolutely. But like, if you, like, for instance, let's use me for an example. If you've been doing hair for 20 years, you don't want to go work at McDonald's. You want to do the trade that you were trained to do, that you went to school to do, that you are licensed through the state to do,
Mhm.
and you want to be able to make a living doing it,
Yeah.
and with the like, the benefits thing. Like, when I had just separated from my ex-husband, I went and got on CCMS, which is the daycare, supplementation, and that's more hoops than I've ever had to jump
Oh,
through.
yeah.
And they make you recertify for that every 6 months, and every time they want a little bit more from you. They make it harder and
Yeah.
harder and harder. And I get, they want you to get to a point where you don't need it
Need
anymore.
it.
But you know what? If I was
If
making
you
a
didn't
living
need it,
wage, I
yeah.
wouldn't need it.
Yeah. Well,
But I'm the one that needs a better job.
yeah. Kevin, when you got denied for CCMS, what was the reason they gave you? When you tried to get CCMS with Caleb for Caleb and you couldn't get it? The daycare supplement. So Kevin, whenever he was single and it was just him and Caleb, he tried to get CCMS for Caleb
Mm-hmm.
and he was making probably not minimum wage. And he was told he was not
Mm-hmm.
he made too much money.
It's
Made too much
ridiculous.
money. And his daycare, I think, was like 130. Oh, I don't remember. That was forever ago. So, but yeah, at the same time, and that's daycare. Daycare is astro fucking nomical. If you have kids
Daycare
now,
was more than
especially,
my rent. More than my
yeah,
rent.
for
Mm-hmm.
3 kids for a home daycare when we moved to Houston, mind you, living in a motel was $270 a week. We had to
Mm.
eventually were able to thankfully move into like a 2-bedroom townhome apartment in the hood because there was one point we got woken up by gunshots and shit, but we just think of like that's the one thing, especially going like these seasons, we just think of like how far we have come
Yeah.
where we were able to pick, do we stay in Houston or can we just up and move in, go like move to, and thank God for stimmy money because we would not have done it without stimulus money. I'll
Yeah.
admittedly say that, or even buy a house without stimulus money because you can't save for a down payment because like something always goes wrong. Something
Mm-hmm.
always goes wrong. I'm
Yeah.
every little noise my car makes, every
What
weird
was that?
noise the house
You're like
makes, I
turning the
freak
air
the fuck
conditioner
out.
off, rolling the windows down, listening to it. It's like, does that sound weird? Is that making a clunking noise? Is that Micah?
It is my sweet boy. He's getting
Hi,
a shower.
Micah.
You hear Amy say hi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What time is it?
I don't know. Go look on the clock and see what time it is. You know how to go tell time on a clock? He was hanging
But
out
you're
in our room.
absolutely right. Like, we were talking, just yesterday. And we've got, I think our lease is up here in May or June, and like we've been talking about trying to put some money away so that when the lease comes up, like, we're not trying to pay our bills here and pay
Mhm.
rent and also pay application fees and
Mhm.
deposits and first months and all this other stuff. And because who can do that? Because if we were to get, like, let's say we get a small 3-bedroom 2-bathroom house here in Chandler where we live, there's no way we're getting it for less than 2,000. There's
Yeah,
no
that's
way.
crazy.
And they're going to want deposit, which is equal to a month of rent. They're going to want
Pet
the first
deposit.
month pet deposit. They're going to
Mhm.
want an application for every adult over the age of 18. So one for me, one for him. And it's just like, who can afford?
The
And it's
house
just like,
hunt.
and that's the
Yeah.
reason why we've been here. It's just like, we can't fucking afford to move. We can't, like, paying the
Yeah.
bills here. Do we pay the bills here and get it, or do we pay, deposits for a new place and, and default
Hope you
on
get
the
it.
lease that we've
Yeah.
got? Yeah,
And fuck
exactly.
your credit, because it doesn't matter. They're still gonna look at your credit. You
Yeah.
know,
And I don't
even
get
if
that
you're
money back if I don't get approved. So
exactly an application fees
it's
to me where there's 75, 50, 75, $100 for an application fee. A
mm-hmm.
background check and a credit check costs $25.
Somebody
Dude,
should
they're
tell
just
these people that.
yeah. Well, they know, but they're like, I'm gonna pocket that extra cheddar. That's why I'm constantly sending you stuff right here, because you guys could buy a fucking house for what you're paying. And that's with rates rising for mortgages. Like it
Mm-hmm.
went from being like a buyer's market to now we're
It's a
watching.
seller's market. Yeah.
I'm super excited for my property taxes to go. They did not. They went up like 15%. But um which sucks because my payment's probably gonna go up like another couple $100. It's thankfully whenever it got fucked up last year, we were able to, like idiots, get a loan. We got a loan like an idiot, like a small, and I paid some shit
Mm-hmm.
off with it. Like I paid Kevin's car off and I paid that down. And so it's only gone up like $100. Like if you have a mortgage, pay like an extra when you can, like 25, 50 into your escrow, because that's gonna save you when your taxes go up, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Which they just
Does
took
he?
a $2,100 out today for my mortgage.
I would
$2,100.
shoot
That's
somebody.
well, when you pay your mortgage, your taxes and your insurance get rolled into your payment and it goes into your escrow account. So that's money that I was already paying. So that was money that they had sitting there to pay my taxes, but that's, one of two payments for the year. My next one will come out in May. So I've got to figure out how to, in the next few months, pay off the $300 I owe for state and income tax for 2022. I have to figure out
Mm-hmm.
how to pay off I think was $700 to the IRS for 2022. Because I just filed my taxes in October because I file an extension every year. I've got to pay all of that off, and then I've got to pay my $500 a year HOA payment. On December
That's
20th.
such
December
bullshit.
23rd. December, like, why the fuck HOA? I'm going to the meeting this year and I'm gonna go, why the fuck are our HOA dues due right after Christmas? Right the fuck after Christmas. And I can say we have a pool, we have a pond, we have playground, we have basketball courts. And it's only $500 a year. Whereas if we were in Houston, it would be $500 a month. So you kind of have to take
Jesus.
it where you can get it. But it's like right the fuck after Christmas, guys. Right the fuck after Christmas. Can you guys not do in September? Or like October or like August or July or June? Can we change it to June? I'll pay it in June. I don't care.
HOAs are the biggest fucking scam, dude. Because, like, if you don't pay those dues, like, can't they
They can
foreclose on your
file.
house or some shit?
It depends on the state. Like Texas is a super lean state and it also depends on your bylaws, because my HOA cannot assess a lien for my assessments. They can't put a lien on my house if they say like my grass, I don't mow my grass for a year. The only way that they can put a lien on my house is to pay somebody to come do it and then put a lien for what they paid that guy to do.
That
They
feels
fucked
like something you would
themselves.
totally do.
Well, we've gotten that whole letter. Like when Kevin broke his foot over the summer, we got like, I'm allergic to grass. And I'm like, I'm out there trying to
What
mow
are
and
you, a
I'm
cocker
allergic.
spaniel?
I'm a parent fucking lady. I get itchy noses and hives. But she fucking cracked herself up on that shit.
Oh my god. Oh, that's fucking funny.
No, actually, I'm a Labrador Retriever. If they're the ones with skin allergies. But anywho,
Yes.
I'm being bullied by a mean girl. Oh, but anyways, we were getting notices because I was not staying on top of the grass, and I was like out there just popping like Benadryl, sucking it up because we don't want the kids mowing the front because, like all American children these days, they're super lazy, right? And of course, my dad wasn't gonna do it. He was just gonna go, Kevin needs to mow the grass. I'm like, Kevin can't fucking mow the grass. He's out there. And at one time, I did come home and he's out there with that fucking scooter, like single hopping it, trying to mow the grass. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing? As our children are just standing there watching him. I'm like, Jesus
Don't
fucking
help.
Christ. Yeah.
Don't help, kids. It's fine. It'll be
Yeah.
fine.
I mean, it is what it is. But yeah. So that's our living. I think we could probably go on and on and on about living paycheck to paycheck, but
Oh, for
we
days
just,
upon
I think we
days.
did like 30 minutes of that. So I think we need to probably move on
Okay.
from there. Where can we find you on social media?
Woo-hoo. I am OG Mary Mother 420 on TikTok. Go follow me because when we get 1,000 followers, when I
We're
get
doing
1,000
this
followers,
fucking
we'll do a
live.
live. Yes,
Whoop,
I'm
whoop.
getting there. I've got like 603, 604, something
Look
like
at
that.
you.
I
I'm just
know.
trying to get to 4,000 at this point. I've been stuck at 3,800 for like 2 months.
Suck my dick, ho.
No, because you're doing much better than me because I have been stuck and you have jumped up like 200 and something in like a little bit of time.
I
So
have. I haven't posted
congratulations.
like really any. I haven't really made anything that's like put any effort into, but I've been busy.
Yeah.
I am Mary Mother 420 on Instagram and Mean Mommy Life on YouTube.
And we are Manifested Drama on YouTube. We are Manifested Drama podcast on Instagram. I am Miss Carter 820 on Instagram and Mama_Missy82 on TikTok. I had to think about it for a minute. I didn't know what my TikTok was.
Which one
Go
is
follow
it?
us, like and subscribe. If you guys like our videos, you guys like our podcasts or recordings, like and subscribe because it really helps us. And then maybe you guys we can get Amy where she's only working one job instead of two. Technically,
God, that would be nice.
2.5 with this podcast. So
Yeah, because this is some work.
poise pads.
We need that and Simply Lemonade.
Simply Lemonade. Look at me. I'm gonna tag Simply Lemonade because they've got to have some kind of social media.
They have to. Oh
literally-
man, how damn! Oh, if I got a
Amy's
PR
getting moved.
package from Simply Lemonade, oh man,
Oh shit!
I would take a picture of me on the floor, just covered, just surrounded in Simply Lemonade cans.
I've got to make a TikTok because I got like a gifted collaboration to do on TikTok where they sent us like a glow in the dark like gun shooting game that I have to make a TikTok for. Fuck, I forgot.
You got
Oh.
PR?
No, I got like a gifted thing. I don't even know. It's like
My
not
friend
a very.
Lonnie got PR.
Did he? Good for him.
He got a PR package from Stir.
Oh, wow.
You know, the water flavoring. They sent him every flavor, so he's been doing TikToks like trying each flavor. So he's a real life influencer now.
Crusties. Do you know what Crusties is? They sent me like a whole pack one time because I would post stuff on Twitter when Twitter was Twitter before it was X, and I never did anything with except eat them. So
Well,
yeah.
what the hell else are you supposed to do with them?
I did get a offer for like a collab for like some collagen moisturizer thing, but they wanted me to sign like a content creator agreement that basically was like if you don't like the product, you can't post it, you don't like the product, and if like something happens you to your face, you can't post it, you don't like the product. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that.
No.
But that's
send me stuff that you know that I like, and then I'll post that I like it. I mean,
I'll pimp myself out, like open to pimping.
Absolutely.
Well, that's our story of our lives, guys, and thanks for listening in this week.
And we're sticking to it. Good talking to you, friend.
Good talking to you. Have a good week.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.